fuck you doing?
Remember that name? Good Pizza with 3 Z's, baby. 3 Z's.
What's up, guys? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, this week we had a very special guest. The homie Kristian from Counterculture came through to tell us the story. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got a local legend in the building. He does it all, folks, from growing to breeding to tissue culture labs. Kristian's got a great story. He's even got a great DMX story, so make sure you pay attention. It's a great episode, full of knowledge and game. We'll see y'all on the show. So you're a fucking Yankees fan, bro?
Yep. Proud
Jesus, how the hell did that happen? Where are you from, man?
I'm from New York originally.
Okay,
I've been out in California for like 25 years now.
For sure. Where in New York are you from, bro?
I grew up outside New York City in Long Island.
Got you. Whereabouts in Long Island?
I was born in Stony Brook.
Okay.
I spent
Stony
some
Brook.
time out east. My grandparents were in like Freeport, Baldwin area. So
Okay.
grew up going in the city a lot, hopping on the Long Island Railroad. And then I think I was like 4th or 5th grade. We moved upstate New York to Lake George.
Nice.
Spent most of my life up there.
Okay.
Graduated high school, and then kind of went on the road for a little bit, and ultimately ended up in California.
What year did you graduate high school?
97.
97, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would have been in the same high school age-wise, because I graduated 01.
Okay.
So if we were in the same area, we would have been the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a cool time to grow up, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good era.
Yeah. It was a good era.
Yeah.
We
was outside.
shitty fucking weed.
Yeah, bro. And you were upstate New York, bro.
Yeah, we had bad stuff. Remember the first time I saw real weed was we used to hang out in Vermont a lot at UVM.
What's UVM?
University of Vermont in Burlington.
Yeah. There you go.
And that was like the first time I saw like purple weed, real weed. I had a lot of older friends in high school, and they would come back from college with real weed. I remember like the first like non-sticks and stems was like chocolate tie stick. I remember seeing that and just being like, I didn't know weed could look like that or smell like that or smoke like that. So yeah.
Good shit, bro. Yo, you know what? Growing up in the Northeast, like a lot of people, if you're not from there, don't know about Vermont. And you didn't have to be from Vermont to know. Maybe you had a friend that went to college or somebody that moved there, whatever. My best friend that we grew up on the same block in Jersey, he went to college there. My boy Bobby, and he used to come back with the fire.
Yeah.
And I used to go up there and visit him. We'd take little road trips over the summer and go see Bob on whatever fucking spot he was staying at. And he moved around Vermont a little bit, so I got to see a couple different spots. But one thing that remained the same was the fire and the quality of the weed. I don't know what the fuck it was called. It was before weed had a name, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But damn, Vermont's been holding it down for a long time, man.
Yeah, they have a good kind of counterculture there.
Definitely.
People were growing for a long time. I mean, early 90s, I remember seeing good weed from there. So.
Yep.
We used to get a lot of like I guess it would be like probably like my senior year after I started moving some packs from Canada. Had a buddy that was
Feasters?
Yeah, Feasters would come across like up in Malone area, like up the northwestern side of New York. Like there was a reservation that touched Canada, so they could get a lot of stuff come across. And
I've heard of that play.
Yeah, we used to grab them, me and a buddy, and bring them down in the city, and like make a couple grand a pack pretty quick. So
Easy, bro, easy. And are you friends with or do you know Buck Mountain? Do you know Jay?
Yeah, Jay. Yeah.
You should have a conversation with him about that.
We have, because when I first got his number, I was like, 518's upstate New York. I was like,
bro.
how you got the 518 area code still, huh? And yeah, that kind of kicked off that conversation.
Yep. We've had some really cool conversations about that, man. And like shit, I didn't even know what was going on up there, bro. Like I was in Jersey, doing Jersey things.
Yeah.
That was a whole nother world up there,
Yeah, upstate New York was crazy. I mean, it was like it was a huge pendulum. Like where I grew up on Lake George, it was like you'd have, people on the Forbes list, then you're having people that are like living in trailer parks. It was like a
Yeah.
crazy mix of
No
people. I remember seeing like Derek Jeter and, you know, he would come to the lake, and DMX. I used to sell weed at DMX and smoke with DMX all the time. And
Hold on, we're gonna stop you right there, friend. Let's talk about that, bro. How the fuck, where the fuck, who the fuck, how'd that all come together?
so I used to work on at a marina on the lake. It was
Okay.
a great summer job while I was in high school and college. And there was a pretty famous resort called the Sagamore.
Okay.
It's an island on the lake.
Oh, cool.
So you actually have to go through a gate to get onto the island. So it's super exclusive.
Okay.
And a ton of athletes and you know, movie stars and stuff would come out there. DMX came out. It was like 99. He was there right after Woodstock, that like Woodstock reunion thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
he came out, and at that time, I would come home on the week or on the summers to run this marina. We'd rent out like 250 boats a day. It was a good job, like when you were in high school and college. So I came back, and he came down for boat rental. He had like one of those pontoon boats, like those big, like, you know, it's like a 24-foot boat, kind of flat on like, you know, like metal pontoons.
Oh,
so you can fit like 20, 25 people in there. And he had it like overloaded with like 35 people. And, yeah, he was on the island for like, I think a month, 3 weeks, a month. And he would come down and rent boats a lot. And he was, one day he was like, hey, you got a plug on, you know, some good weed? And I was like, yeah. You know, he's like, I want that fucking California shit. And I was like, well, like, this is what I got. This is the best. He was buying like a couple ounces every like 2 days because he had so many people with him. And
Yeah.
but year after year, probably 4 or 5 years in a row, he would just keep coming back. And it was funny because he was a huge pool player, and I grew up playing pool. I love playing pool.
Nice.
And
Same.
we would go to like a dive bar. He hated to drive, so we would go to a dive bar. I'd pick him up, and we would go shoot pool for hours at this like dive bar that was in a basement of a restaurant. And people would walk in, they'd be like look at him, and they'd be like, is that him? They're like, no. And they'd like walk away from him. The cameras definitely made him look bigger. He was pretty short, you know.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 6'2", and he was like, you know, at my shoulder. But we would just sit there, fucking shoot pool.
That's fucking cool,
smoke
man.
weed and for hours and hours and hours. And it happened for years and years. He kept on coming back, and
What a fucking,
you know, it's
what a
pretty
trip.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
fucking dope, man. Well, how was he as a human? Like,
He was cool.
Cool as shit.
When it was when he first came, he was like in the height of his career.
No
you
doubt.
know? And then as the years went by, you saw his like entourage kind of every year kind of shrunk a little bit.
Yeah.
And the last year it was like just him and maybe like, you know, a kid or two and you know, a baby's mama or something. But
for sure.
at the end, like he was, you know, probably, you know, he was going through like money issues and shit. So,
No doubt.
but we would just hang out and play pool and smoke weed.
Talk about life and fucking shoot the shit.
Yeah. It was funny because everyone was always asking him for stuff, and he was just like, man, you haven't asked me for anything. And I was like, I'd love to just hear you fucking freestyle. So we were super fucking lit, and he just started freestyling. It was I'll never forget that moment. It was a pretty cool moment.
Possibly the most legendary rap story I've had on the show yet.
Really?
That was fucking cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just yo, spit something for me, X. Like, and you're just chilling dolo with DMX, and you just freestyle for you. That is
We're high as fuck.
nuts.
You know, we're like 19,
Did you just
20
throw a
years
beat
old.
on for him?
No, I'm not.
Just acapella. Just fuck, dog. That's
It was
crazy.
pretty cool. It was another good friend at that time was with me too, and we were just sitting there, just like, I can't believe this. It's like surreal, you know.
So that must have, like, you know, when he passed away, that must have fucked you up a little bit, man. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
It sucked. Like, you know, it was years later, but
No
like
doubt.
he was a good person. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He, like I said, he hated to drive, so I would pick him up, and it was like a normal person hanging out. And he loved to play pool. We used to talk a lot of shit playing pool and just have, it was like hanging out with a buddy,
Yes, no doubt.
So it was cool.
No doubt. That's cool, man. He seemed like an around the way guy, neighborhood guy,
Yeah.
So I could see that, man. Wow, that's fucking cool, man. That's very cool. Continue. Sorry, I had to stop you. That was selfishly. I was one of my favorite rappers you grew up on. I love X, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that's legend, man.
Yeah. No. So yeah. Kind of. Actually, I waited a while to start smoking weed. I probably didn't start smoking until 17, 18.
Okay.
I played a lot of sports and just was doing a lot of things. And
Sure.
I really even didn't drink until probably 17.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, I was just I used to compete professionally snowboarding. I skated a lot of it too, but yeah, kind of travel around all the Northeast, and then I got out of high school and went out to Colorado and lived out there for a couple of years, and then we always go back to New York. Lake George is a special place in the summertime.
Oh yeah.
So I'd go back, and then I came out here, was trying to like still compete. I started getting hurt, so
Snowboarding?
oh yeah,
Snowboarding, gotcha.
yeah. I tore this shoulder. The only thing that was holding it together was skin.
Oh man.
Tore everything. It was like a 4th degree separation, so it was like everything was torn. I had to go home, live on my mom's couch for 6 months, and was just like, okay, I got to figure something else out. This
ain't it.
When I was competing, like the jumps were like this and the landings were like this. It was all compression. My knees are fucking shot.
For sure.
So, but
You were sending shit.
yeah, like we were early on, had a bunch of sponsors, and I was on the Paul Mitchell Mountain Dew, did a tour back then. So we were all over all over America competing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, did you compete in skateboarding too, or is like snowboarding your main thing?
Snowboarding is my main thing. Like
doubt.
I grew up, like where I grew up, it was fucking cold. Like we could
Yeah.
skateboard maybe 2 months a year. Yeah,
for sure.
we actually used to go over to Rutland, had over in Vermont had a good skate park, but that was like the only
Got you.
real skate park around.
They weren't around like they are today. The skateboard, we're still outlaws.
Oh, yeah.
Skateboard, like the skateboarding was like you were a scumbag.
We got
skater.
chased around.
Yeah,
The
bro,
cops later
chased
on
everywhere.
would be like, they always like, you were one of the faster ones that could get away, but they were always harassing us. We grew up in a small town. So it was
Always,
like
bro.
6,000 or 7,000 people, and they knew who we are, but they were always chasing us around, so.
Jersey, what up? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, everybody's been asking me, where can I get the slices in Jersey? Look no further. Peep the list. Check it out. It's right here. Pull up. Grab you a slice. Thank you for the support, Jersey. Peace, love, good pizza. We'll see y'all out there. That's cool, bro.
Yeah.
So you decided to move to California for snowboarding?
Snowboarding,
was
and
the
I
move?
actually snowboarding, and then I went to college. So I studied computer science,
Okay.
but was snowboarding. I went to college. There was a small, tiny college up in Lake Tahoe. And I could snowboard and go to school. Most of my schooling was in the afternoon and evening, and I would spend the whole day on the mountain. So, and then, so I lived up in Tahoe and Truckee for 20-something years, 22, 23 years.
Oh, wow.
Most of the people up there, like, it's funny. I remember seeing my first grow. Like, like I said, I moved packs. I was, always moving, either packs or just trying to smoke for free.
Sure.
And I remember seeing the first grow. It was a good buddy in college. His older brother had this house, and I'd go over there and I'd be like, "What is upstairs? Like I hear humming or something." And they'd like, "Nah, don't worry about it." And then finally, after like hanging out with them for months at a time, they're like, "Okay, come upstairs." And I remember like walking in. I don't even think the lights were even 600. I think they were like 400.
No shit.
This would have been like 2000 or 2001. And I was like, I felt uncomfortable. I was like, man, I've been around a lot of weed before, but like, someone's going to bust the door down. And yeah, he started growing. And then, living up in Tahoe is expensive. So the majority of the locals were supplementing their income at that point for with weed. You know, people would throw up 10, 12, 14 lights in their garage, or someone had a bedroom that they would turn into, you know, 4 or 5 lights. And that's kind of how I got introduced to it. A lot of my friends started growing. I turned a spare bedroom into like 4 lights. It was like the old, like 600, like 4-inch ducting, you know, to cool down the lights, and kind of got my start there. Tahoe, actually, ironically, it's the coldest, like on average temperature in North America.
Really?
Because like even in the summer, it's like 45 or 50 at night. So like where I grew up in upstate New York, I would see -20, -40. I got frostbite on my nose when I was like 18. That's why it's like red. I lost like a couple layers of skin.
Really?
And that was like -40, -60 with the windshield up in Lake Placid. I got stuck on a chairlift for, I don't know, 45 minutes, like to the point where I was like, I think I might have to jump off because it was so freaking cold. So, but when I came out here, everyone was like, yeah, no, this is like on average, it's the coldest place in North America. And upstate New York is freezing in the winter, but it's not that, you know, it's 70, 75 at night in the summer. So,
okay.
But
So
what we
like
used
a
to
daily
do
average or some shit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But what we used to do in Truckee is we would suck the cold air, cool down the lights, and because back then none of us had like, you know, ACs or anything. We weren't at that point yet. You know, this is like early 2000s. Like,
No splitters.
No. It was like we would, we were using the cold air at night, but it would make the resin and the color, you know, like before purple was really cool. Like, you know, like we would get it a lot more, and you know, I used to come to Sac a lot and sell a lot of weed in Sac, and I'd sell a lot of weed down in the Bay Area, and it was also just dark and it was a lot stickier. And that was like one of our tricks, is using the cold air. We'd run the lights at night and cool the room down, and then, you know, as we kind of progressed, like I moved into the garage, and there was like 12 or 14 lights. But at that point we were getting like, you know, an electrician and a AC guy would come in and then set up a real AC system, and then we could actually cool down. You know, we'd have 1,000 watt lights, and, you know, 12, 14,000 watts. So
nice, dude. Now I'm curious. Now you mentioned stickier. I want to stay there for a second. In your opinion, why was weed stickier back in the day?
I really think, honestly, it was genetics.
Okay.
You know, like for me, like I think it got stickier because, like, you know, resin production is actually it's part of the plant's life cycle, but it's, you know, when it thinks it's dying, it's going to put on more resin because it's trying to attract pollen, right? It's trying to attack or get more pollen. So for me, you know, I think mine was more resinous because I was creating this almost this what I want to say, like mechanism to keep going, right? For the plant to keep plant out by, you know, getting it cold down to, you know, 55 at night or whatever. So it was just putting on more resin because it thinks it's dying, you know? So, but nowadays, like I've heard a lot of people say it was, you know, lights and, you know, but
I hear most of the time.
Right.
Lights.
I think it was, you know, I think it was strain related. Cause if you look now, like I think still some of the more green stuff is definitely stickier. Like I'm running some stuff right now where it's, you know, some older strains and it's, like we're running the original 707 headband. That's a lot fucking stickier. Some old chems and stuff like that. And, you know, I think part of what the shift in the industry to the purples and some of the candy years, I just think it's more strain related. It's a different structure.
I can see that. I don't remember anything really. All the new purples are from gelato on, we'll call it. I don't remember them being sticky, like really ever, unless it's like a fucking fresh ass
really
pack. No,
either.
Nah, not really. Unless it's a fresh ass pack and that lasts for a week, maybe. Right. You know what I mean? But that fucking sticky OG, you could stick to the wall. I mean, I remember that was a thing, right? The Bay Area fucking wall test. I remember when people used to say you stick on the wall, see how long it sticks, or on your thumb, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I'd still want the weed like that. I guess I do, because it makes it more resinous and maybe better, maybe get you higher. But I roll a lot of joints, so maybe not the best for joints.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
I miss some of the old stuff though.
Me too, man.
I feel like this, especially like right now, it's like, you know, it's almost cyclical. Like it's like fashion. It's starting to come back. You know, my daughter's wearing acid wash jeans. Like I saw that shit right? Like back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
You know? So
my son Paulie, he's 17. He wears all my old jeans from like my baggy jeans days. And like
the Jenkas or whatever.
No, I never wore Jenkos, but like Anichi jeans. We had some Jersey brands I used to wear, like Red Label, and you know, a couple other what the fuck else we used to wear? I don't even remember, bro. I'm fucking a boring ass dad now. I wear American Eagles. You know what I'm saying? They're stretchy, their jeans, they're ripped a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, and the big shirts. The big shirts are coming back too. These kids wearing baggy shit.
Yeah.
Now my young boys are trying to say, nah, bro, you gotta get the baggy shirts. I'm like, dog, if you knew how long this took me to grow up and wear shit that fits me, bro, I'm not going back, dog. I'm not doing it. I might throw a 1X on every once in a while, but that's as far as we going, player.
Yeah, it's funny also too, like one of my daughter's friends walked in the other day with a Nirvana t-shirt. And I was like, oh, you like Nirvana? And she was like, just looked at me. She's like, what? I was like, your shirt? Yeah.
It's fucking Target or some shit, bro.
It's like we're that old now. Like,
nah, dog. I make him listen to that shit. I was like, oh, you want to wear that? Oh, you gotta hear what this shit's all about, man. I'll torch you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Metallica, like those are some pretty popular ones they just wear.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah, my kids all love Biggie and like the old school rap. Most of the rap I listen to they've died, you know?
Yeah, I remember when my daughter went on like an old school 90s kick, she like put some songs on that I was super proud of her to put on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'll just annoy him to death. I'll be like, yeah, that was when da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, and yo, they was beefing with, and then, yo, this shit went down. They're like, bro, I don't care, dude. Like, you just turn it up, Dad? I'm like, whatever. You guys don't know shit about hip hop. That's crazy, bro. How many kids you got?
2, boy and a girl.
Solid. Hell yeah. Nice. So you're in California.
Yep.
Friends with DMX, legendary. You're growing your weed, doing your thing. You're in Tahoe. Okay, what happens after the Tahoe chapter?
I met my cousin actually. He moved out from New York too. He moved down to Santa Cruz, and it was funny. So living in Tahoe, you'd meet a lot of influential Mendo and Humboldt guys because they would crop out and then they would come to Tahoe, spend the winter skiing, snowboarding, being ski bums.
Yep.
But it was funny, like, you know, like they always had to still grow. So they would like fire up like 6 lights and, you know, like they're making, you know, $1 million in the season and then they're like firing up 6 lights because they still wanted to grow.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time on the mountain and would just start making friends. And so I would actually have access to genetics before other people would have access to genetics because of the Tahoe connection. Nice. So my cousin was growing in Santa Cruz. He was going to college down there. Met a buddy. I had the original Girl Scout cookies before like anyone had the Girl Scout cookies, and his buddy through the Tahoe connection, just some buddies that had it from Mendo. Like, it didn't even come to me as like cookies. It was like Cosmic something, or you know, but it was the real deal. Thin Mint. That like I remember the first time we grew it. On the plant, I was like, fuck, like this is not even going to be a pound of light. Like what the hell? And it's chronic. And I look at it and the pound's like this big.
Oh man.
And I was like, what do you, like, I walked up to the trimmers, like, what are you guys doing? Like, why aren't you pounding this out? They're like, that is a pound. And I was like, shit. Holy shit. Like,
yeah, those
put it on the scale. Nuts. Yeah. It was so dense, you know? Yep. Yeah, ended up getting that. And my cousin was growing it and up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and a buddy kept coming over, and he was like, I need that cut. And my cousin's like, I can't give that cut out to you. I can't give it out to you. So at this time, like I had a couple indoor grows, was renting out like houses, and we're just blowing up the garages. And starting to grow too much. I didn't like play the out of state game too much. Like I'd always had, buyers coming in, but like I didn't like, at that time, a lot of people were shipping shit all over the country.
No doubt. What year are we in now? Just bring me up to speed.
Probably like, I'd say 8 to 10, like
8 to 10?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
My cousin's neighbor was like, how about I'll make a connection with you to a really good dispensary in San Jose. Will you give me that cut? And I was like, because, like most of the dispensaries, they pick up like 1 to 3. Some still wanted to pay you, in terms back then. I remember, I think it was 2009, the DEA, there was like 200 shops or something in Sac. And the DEA came through and fucking, showed everyone that they were still in charge, and just like smashed doors and, just grabbed things. Like not many people went to jail, but, they were like, we're still in charge. I look at that as like the first time I was robbed, because I go and drop off a couple pounds on terms and then come back like on Friday, and the whole place is flipped upside down. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, you get robbed? They're like, no, it's the fucking DEA. Like, the DEA came through Sac really hard back then. And so for me, it was like, I'm kind of a, somewhat level, probably like an introvert, and I hate doing sales. So, like I'd meet my cousin's neighbor, and he was like, I'll help you. Like, these guys will buy a box at a time. And I was like, they'll cash me out for a box? And they're like, yeah. So it was actually Purple Lotus. Shout out to Matt and G in San Jose.
Purple Lotus. I feel like I know that name.
Yeah, there were like same shit kind of happened in San Jose. Like it went from a couple hundred dispensaries down to like 5.
Okay.
Probably more than 5.
Purple Lotus is a dispensary.
Yeah.
In San Jose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
San
Okay.
Jose.
Gotcha.
So I used to drive all my weed down from Truckee, take it to Purple Lotus, and they cash me out right there on the spot. A couple 100 pounds of, indoor.
Hell yeah.
So I, from there, I hand, off the cut of, Girl Scout cookies. It was the Thin Mint. Hand that off to a buddy, Justin, and we just started working together, helping each other out. And then ultimately, I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the industry. Like I did a lot of computer like development and engineering and consulting. So I would grow on the side, but then also I had like a decent income too. So
Nice.
He came to me. He's like, got a bunch of cash. Do you want to buy a property in the foothills? So like Grass Valley, Penn Valley area. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Hadn't really grown. I mean, you can't really grow anything outdoors up in Tahoe. It's fucking freezing.
Of course.
So we picked up a property in Penn Valley, built a greenhouse, built like a 20 lighter. There was a 2-car garage. It had 10 lights on both sides.
Yep.
That fucking, that meter was just spinning, like we would just set it up. So like the lights on one side would go off, the other side would fire on.
Yeah,
it was
of
just
course.
fucking 24 hours a day. So we started growing down there, and first couple years it was like we'd crop out a couple times and get another property and just kept on going.
Yep.
I had the credit. I had the legitimate means on paper. So
Nice.
but that ultimately we created a brand called Finest
Okay.
with a PH.
Yep.
And we kind of ran the hustle from the 215 script areas. Like we would do high times and hemp cons and all that shit, and give away eighths and get as much scripts as we could. At that, like we probably had 6 or 8 properties we either purchased or were running with other partners, and we got our hands slapped a couple times, got busted a couple times.
Nothing crazy.
We got one of the bigger busts in Nevada County. Like they came in with like multiple dump trucks. Like,
ooh.
When there was, when 2,000, 3,000 square feet was big, we bought a property way up in the hills of Nevada City. It was like 8 miles down a dirt road. We're like, no one's ever going to come out here. So let's just go for it. And we had probably 12 or 15,000 square feet of canopy. And there was growers all around us. We felt safe. And then I was actually there that morning. We didn't have like any infrastructure. This is like, there was one of our workers sitting there. He was sleeping there in a little pop-up camper. So, I was literally at the U-Haul renting out a 26-foot box truck to, we were going to cut it all down and then, drop it off at some of our other properties to dry it. And I get a phone call and I was like, there's no cell reception up there. So when I get a phone call from him, I'm like, oh shit, something's wrong.
Oh, no.
So they came in pretty heavy. There was 2 workers there. And we had a partner on that one, and he was smart. He put it into an LLC that was like in Texas or something. So it was like the sheriff they didn't know who owned the property because it was so well hidden, and they wouldn't allow, like Texas wouldn't share the LLC information, who the owner was, without like a federal warrant and stuff like that. So nice. It's funny, the cops came in, they're just like, who owns this property? They're like, I don't know. Like they didn't, because our buddy was living back east, and they just didn't know who it was. So that one, both employees got charges dropped on them.
Okay.
There was some stuff with my name there, so they kind of started harassing me. They were like looking at the properties. Some of them were in LLC, some of them were in my personal name. So they started like digging in, and were showing up at other properties. But we had a badass lawyer at the time. She was in Nevada County too. Nice. And I just remember she was like, let's fight this. So I drop off cash to her for the 2 employees, because they're the ones that got stuck with the charge.
No doubt.
And then she fought it for like 3.5 years. She was like, something's up with this. She's like, they're trying to get me to take a plea, and they just filed charges. She's like, I just feel in my gut there's something going on. So she was like, I turned to the employees, and they're like, yeah, let's fight it. And it literally it was going to trial. And at the time of discovery, the DA came over, handed her this like packet, and just ripped it in half. And the sheriff kind of fucked up. He put the pictures of all the greenhouses without any plants into the warrant file, which got sealed. And then, so the warrant was like dismissed because it was like a clerical error. So,
shit.
Yeah. So she was, we called her Mama Bear. Like she was, I remember the first time I met her, she was covered in tattoos, and one of my buddies like hooked me up with her, and I like walk in to her office, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I need a real lawyer. And then she started talking. I was like, oh, she actually knows her shit, and she was like down for the cause. Like she did a ton of hallucinogens, and she went all these different routes, and she kept us out of jail. Like we got slapped a bunch of times, but she kept us out of jail. So
shout out to her. She's still a lawyer?
Heather Burke. Yeah. Heather
Burke? Nice.
Yeah. She was, she's actually up in Humboldt now. But Omar Figueroa, there was a handful of lawyers that were, it was funny. Like we had Panzer, there's this other lawyer down in San Francisco. So if anything went federal, he actually his business card was this like CNC like metal business card with a grinder, and that was like the bat phone. So if anything ever went federal, like he we had that card. So luckily nothing went federal on me. My partner at the time, Jay, like he got caught in a federal case in Butte County where they actually cross deputize the sheriffs as DEA agents and sheriffs. So he got caught in a federal case. He pled out of it. We ended up working together. We started branding stuff in probably like 2009, 2010, like selling branded products at, HempCon and, things like that. High Times.
Yeah. Finest?
Under Finest, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he came up. His dad had a natural food company, and they made this like these peppermint patties with like 3 ingredients. And then we started to, at this time, distillate and hydrocarbons starting to come out. So we came out with the fatty patty. We put that out at like hemp cons and stuff like that. We packaged that. I guess this would be 14, 15 now. The county, before like Prop 64, it was like McCursa and like they were trying to like clean up, 215 a little bit. They were trying to make it a little more legitimate.
Yeah.
So our county decided to try to get ahead of it and tried to put out licenses. And a bunch of us got together with Heather Burke. She was helping us get legitimate. At this time we all had the mutual nonprofit beneficial companies. Like we were running, just to keep us, to keep us as clean as we could back then, So it was like we were growing for, 40,000 patients and
Growing for patients. Yep.
yeah. And it was, at that time, the county decided to ban all commercial cultivation. That you couldn't have more than I think it was 12 plants then, or 600 square feet. So at that time we were still getting harassed in the county. We ended up turning it over, but the county wanted to do the full environmental impact study that the state was going to require. So it was like 2 years. Like it was going to take them 2.5 years to kind of build a somewhat of a legitimate licensing structure. So we lived in Truckee. I lived in Truckee with my family, and Truckee's still in Nevada County. It's on the very eastern part of Nevada County.
Really?
So the sheriff was knocking at my door as I'm down the hill growing and, harassing my wife and the kids and stuff. And so I was like, we gotta figure something out. So, we ended up selling all of our properties. The Prop 64 is getting closer. We kind of me and Jay ran all over the state trying to figure out where we were going to end up. Actually did some work in Nevada, help get a couple of license, because Nevada actually beat California to recreational weed. So
really?
Yeah, I was doing some work in Reno for a little bit, doing some grows in Reno, and then we ended up coming down to Sacramento, partnered up with a dispensary owner in Sacramento and his landlord, and that kind of started Finest. And one of our kind of claim to fame was being one of the first nurseries that did tissue culture.
Okay.
So I watched a lot of friends as you started to come into the legal, even in other states. We all shared genetics, and some of those genetics were sprayed with pesticides that were systemic, so it'll be in there for 5 or 6 generations.
Damn.
So we were watching other friends, and the problem is you hand something to somebody else and you don't know what they sprayed on, and they give it back to you, and you know? So we were watching other friends like start to fail for pesticides. Growing through tissue culture is one of the only ways to remove systemic pesticides. But kind of a step backwards, I was growing like, I think 3 or 4 houses in Truckee. Each one was like anywhere from 10 to 14 lights. And it was all Girl Scout cookies. And I would bring all of it down to Purple Lotus, and they would buy every fucking, you know, gram that they could. And I remember dropping off some to them, and they were like, I get a call. I was on my way back up the hill, and they're like, yo, there's seeds in here. And I was like, that's weird. Like no one said anything. Like the trimmers didn't say anything. And he was like, it's not that bad, but, you know, just giving you a heads up, just make it right on the next drop. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I go back, and the trimmer's like, yeah, I didn't see anything. So the next round's coming down, and I start breaking open, and sure enough, it's like seeded, and it was just bad genetics. And over time, a lot of people throw out, they call genetic drift, but it's not really genetic drift. It's just the plant has some imbalance in it that, like a stressor event, you know, maybe it's because I'm stressing them out with cold air and getting purple and getting more resin. But that event started to happen over and over again. So I started to, at that time, it was like storyboard, or it's not storyboards, but everyone was chatting on like IC Mag or Roll It Up. There was a couple different, you know, spots that we were all talking together. So I hop on there, and it's like, how do I turn back a genetic? And they're like, tissue culture. And there was this guy selling out of Santa Rosa. He was selling tissue culture kits. So I ordered some, brought it, tried it out, and failed miserably at it. Like, I think I took 200 cuts, and 2 of them survived for a couple days. Like with tissue culture, you have to be in a lab environment. It has to be fully sterile, like pharmaceutically sterile. Okay. So like any little bit of mold or bacteria will fuck up the tissue culture. Okay. So, you know, going forward, you know, it's like, you know, like coming into the Prop 64, we kind of all sat down. We're like, what's something that no one's doing that we're going to need in this industry? So I was like, man, tissue culture for the systemic pesticides and for just like, you know, genetics we always saw genetics as the foundation of, you know, the brand of what we were doing. So we actually partnered with a group that was outside of Sacramento, and, you know, launched tissue culture into the rec market. You know, like it was actually funny, like we quote unquote got busted in the 64 too, because we turned one of the grows into a nursery, and it was funny. It's a bunch of, you know, people from UC Davis, a bunch of smart people, and all of a sudden, like the Sacramento police, I think it was actually sheriff, come in with fucking guns and SWAT uniforms, and they're like, I thought what we were doing is legal. And they're like, well, we're hearing that you're selling plants and not weed. So like it came down to tax dollars. So we actually had to work with I can't remember who was the Sacramento Sejar at the moment, but like we had to work with him to actually create a license.
God damn, what was his name, bro?
Was it Joe?
Joe, yeah, it was Joe fucking Devlin.
Yep.
Devlin.
Yeah. But we had to work
Shout
with him.
out to Caleb from Main Stage, just hanging out with us today.
So yeah, he had to like realize that we had to like, and this was like, like there was licenses, there was metric was like not really used. It was like that whole, you know, transition period from the 215 into the 64. It happened for a couple of years. So it was gray, but like, I remember the next day, like half the people quit. They're just like, they're like, you know, smart people with degrees from fucking UC Davis, and they're like getting, you know, shotguns shoved in their face and told to get out.
Life.
Yeah.
It's a different life.
So, but yeah, I mean, we came out, you know, with tissue culture, with genetics, you know, we partnered with Colorado for years too, and breeded together and put a lot of,
no shit. Nice.
Yeah, put a lot of stuff out in the market. sold millions of clones for a couple years, and
Hell yeah.
unfortunately Jay passed away tragically, and at that point I'm still.
And that was your partner. That was your partner.
That was my partner. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I was driving from Truckee. We built a 2-acre grow out in Woodland, and I was driving that every day for years. Like I was like putting like 90,000 miles a year in my truck. And
where were you living at the time?
Truckee.
Oh, you were in Truckee going.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was rough. So after he passed away, it lasted a couple more years, and I feel like we envisioned the company going wasn't getting there, and I was burnt out. So I kind of took a couple steps back to go forward, and stepped away from that probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Bought a property in Grass Valley, and then just kind of started to like refocus. I started doing a lot of genetic work again, because at the like apex of finance, like I think we had like probably 300 employees, and it was just I never wanted to go like that. Like it just it's not who.
Big.
Yeah, and
It's a lot, bro.
yeah, and I think anyone will tell you the first thing that you lose at scale is quality. It's hard to do quality at scale consistently, and it was just too much. It was burning me out. So I took a couple steps back to go forward, and bought a property, started growing light assist, deprivation, so light deps. Started doing a lot of breeding for rosin too. Kind of started, that whole era started taking off, and started working with some good brands on the rosin side too, and just doing genetics, and started licensing a lot of genetics to different nurseries, licensed stuff to conception nurseries here in Sac, and then honestly all over the world now. Been in Spain last couple of years, and yeah, I mean the genetics are popping up all over the world now.
Nice. What's up, guys? It's your boy JP Good Pizza. Just taking a quick second to shout out my sponsors over at Grove Bags. Listen, it's an exclusive proprietary bag, and here's why we love them. Let's talk terpene preservation. This is the best environment for storing your cannabis. It keeps your cannabis at 58 to 62% humidity at all times. It's like your cannabis is living in San Diego year-round with the best weather. Terpene and flavor longevity. That's important. It inhibits microbial growth. No mold, Kujin. Let's talk light protection. UV rays and good pizza don't mix. It also increases shelf life. Guys, if you have your flower in a dispensary, please use Grove Bags. We all know that stuff sits sometimes. This is gonna be your saving grace for flower that sits on that shelf longer than it should. Don't mess around with the pizza. Use promo code GOODPIZZA with TreeZ's. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. We'll see y'all back on the show. Now, were you in Spain during like Cannabis?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, actually it was with the Terpogs. We did a booth together. We did this guava, which is a Z guava.
Nice.
Did that together, and then did a whole line based off of that.
Okay.
2 years ago, and then last year we did a Fatso Sunday cross to a bunch of Skittles and stuff like that. So
Nice.
yeah, I've been putting out a couple rounds of genetics with them the last couple of years.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah. Who do you rock with over there? Fields or Tony or?
Mostly Tony.
Mostly Tony, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, John Doe too. Definitely talk to Fields, but I think for most of the genetic stuff, it's Tony and John Doe.
No doubt. Nice, man.
Yeah. We did good the last couple of years at Cannabis, and been finding some heat. It's cool to see like people all over the world are tagging, sending me pictures, and it's pretty cool. Like I never thought I'd be traveling the world, off of genetics and in the plant. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you really look back on to your younger days and see where you've been in the world, and you're like, wow,
yeah,
this fucking plant really took me places, man.
Yeah, took me and my wife to Bulgaria, which I never would have went to Bulgaria. Like it was not somewhere I would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to Bulgaria, you know. But 2 years ago, met some guys at Cannabis, and they were in Bulgaria, and they wanted help on doing a reversal at CBD over there. So they needed some help on creating some feminized seed.
Okay.
Flew us over to Bulgaria for a couple days, and it's actually gorgeous. It's, you know, it looks like you're in Greece. It's really cold. Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was gorgeous, like a Mediterranean style. So
okay. Nice, bro. Did you go to Berlin this year?
I did not.
Yeah,
like
me neither.
Berlin, unfortunately, is like the wrong time of the year. You know, like we have, you know, a bunch of dep, and, you know, like it's just,
You're in the thick of it.
yeah, it's hard to pull
mid-June,
away.
yeah.
Yeah. I got to get out there next year. You know, like everyone just tells me
Same
how,
here.
like, I mean, Germany is like what, like 3 times the size of California, you know, like it's massive. You know, probably the biggest event in the world right now. So
I've never gotten FOMO worse than this round, bro.
I missed the first 420 in New York. You know, I
was there for that, for sure.
Yeah, like I think that was probably the most FOMO I've had, you know, because growing up there, and I got busted with weed, nothing crazy, but just, you know, I got pulled over, and, you know, I was 18, so I was like released on my own recognizance.
Yep, ROR.
I ended up getting kicked out of my house because that was senior year in high school. I got kicked out of my house because I thought I was good. Like weeks went by, and then I grew up in a small town, and they like once a month they would read off who was arrested on the public radio.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And a family friend heard it and called my mom, and, you know, my mom was just like, "You're out." And I was like, "Fuck, really?"
Damn.
So, whatever.
I remember that, bro. We didn't have it on the radio station. We had a little section in the paper on the side who got clipped that week.
Yep. Yeah, New York was fucked up too, because like New York decriminalized weed in the 70s, like, but it was a really weird law where you could have up to, I think it was an ounce on you, but you couldn't have it in public. You could have it at your house. You could smoke it. You couldn't buy it or sell it, or you couldn't grow it. It was a weird law, but like you could have it on your possession in your house. I got pulled over. I was sitting in the back of a friend's car, senior in high school, and the cops smelt it. You know, like, okay, who has the weed? And everyone was like quiet, you know, and he's like, well, I'm getting the dog. So he's like, I'm going to go back to the back. I'm calling in it was probably the police chief because it was a town cop.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm going back in to call, you know, you guys talk about it, figure out, you know, I was in the back like of a friend's car, good friend's car, and a couple girls. And so he comes back, he's like, okay, whose weed is it? And I was like, it's mine. So he takes me out, he starts patting me down. He's like, okay, can you show it to me? So it was in my sock. It was like a half ounce, like broken up. Mm-hmm. And I show it to him. And that's the stickler of the law. Like if you can have it on your possession, but the minute you show it in public, that law was thrown out the window.
Oh shit.
So they would have everyone show it to him. Like, we're going to take it easy on you, blah, blah, blah. And then I show it to him so that it negates the law. So then I got a possession charge. It was nothing. I mean, I went to court by myself. I was 18, like, and I thought it was all good. And then, I just got ran on the radio a couple weeks later, and
motherfucker.
Yep.
So what if you said, nah, search me, do your job, and they found it? Would it be the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember like talking to like a friend that was a lawyer. Her dad was like the town cop, and he was like, or town lawyer, and he told me, he's like, he told me he broke down the law, and never asked him that, but
he said they tricked you, son.
Yeah,
they tricked.
I don't think you're supposed to have it in public anyway. I think the whole thing was it's supposed to be at your place of residence, you know. So, but yeah.
Motherfuckers, man. Those small town cops used to harass the fuck out of us, bro. I tell people, like, in Jersey, and I know like in New York and like upstate, it's like all these small little towns. All these small towns have municipalities. All these municipalities have police stations. Yeah. So you could go 30 minutes and go through 5 towns, 5 different small towns with board cops that went to high school there. They're just ready for your ass, bro.
Yeah.
They can't wait.
I pretty much grew up in like Dazed and Confused. Like it was a small town like that. We were all partying in the woods and bonfires. And I lived so it was the town and then the county. And then I lived in another county, but we didn't have any town cops. So the county cops had to come like, an hour away to come bust a party or something.
Got you. Okay.
I actually played in a band in high school, and like my house, my mom would leave a lot on the weekends, and I'd have 100 people hanging out partying in our house.
Spot.
I had a spot, yeah.
Okay. So that's what's up, man.
But the town cops always hated it because there was narcs in high school that were like drive around with the cops, think they were cool, and be like, okay, this is who's dealing weed, or this is having the parties. And so my name always came up a lot because I was having the parties.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool, man. You had a cool upbringing, bro.
Yeah, no, I've experienced a lot over my life so far.
Yeah, man. You had a good run. Yeah. Still running. Goddamn right. So let's go into the current season that you're in with Counterculture. Let's dive into, how did that come about? How did you and Caleb link up?
Yeah.
Give me that whole story.
Yeah. So, for me, leaving a brand that I helped build and, for the genetic side of things, there's so many people growing what we were producing, at a finest. So for me, it was kind of my identity, so taking a step away from that was hard. But then, I kind of sat down and I went through the branding process with a friend. I listen to a ton of podcasts. I've been listening to your podcast, First Smoke, all the ones. And I felt like what we were missing with this transition into, the recreational weed now is the stories, is the culture. So for me, it was I was always operating in this, even with kids, I was always operating in this counterculture, this dark area, I couldn't, for a long time, I was still doing web development or software development, so we'd meet a new parent, right? And they'd be like, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm in software, it was easy. But at one point I stepped away from that, and weed was the only thing I was doing, but it was still in the 215. So people weren't cool with it. So I still had to operate in this gray area. Yeah. Right. So going through the process of building a brand and the development, cause I had no idea what I wanted to call it, so I felt like a lot of my years, I've always kind of been the black sheep, got kicked out for weed. But I always felt this draw to the plant for some reason. And I couldn't, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. I always felt like I was meant to do something with this plant. So, it kind of came up, going through that brand development, just trying to figure out the brand. And I'm I've always been kind of in this gray area, in this, subculture and it just kind of popped. And then, my family has a thing with K's.
Okay.
So I'm Kristian with a K. So
okay, got you.
That's, counterculture. We took both K's and,
yeah.
That's kind of how that came. And, I really just, like I said, I took a couple steps back to go forward, and I really, it's like a homage to what a lot of us went through, and, a lot of the, we're bringing back a lot of old strains and stuff like that where, I feel like it really helped shape this industry. And, I've been breeding with some of the old stuff that I have in tissue culture now. That's kind of how the name came back. And, we just launched back onto the rec market. We're in a couple shops here in Sac, and we're opening, more and more SKUs every week, a couple of weeks now. So
nice,
have a bunch of, rosin, resin, light supplemental flour and stuff like that.
Nice. So you guys are doing rosin, resin, all-in-one pens,
Yep, we have a couple.
and mixed light flower, right?
Couple right here. So Caleb picked out the hardware.
Nice, dude. How'd you and Caleb link up? Mind if I rip this?
No, please. Just over the years, mutual friends. Like I worked with Carter Paper Planes a lot. He was, great hardware.
No, it is.
I say Caleb's a pretty snobby bitch, so it's nice.
He
Like
is.
weed snobby bitch.
Become correct. Right.
So it's like for me, like I just focus on the growing, the genetics and stuff, and I need someone to, like I've had this in my
I see it now.
right. I've had this in
Got you.
my mind for a while, but I haven't been, haven't had the opportunity to like help bring it to life and bring it to, bring it to the market. So, Caleb's been a big integral part of that, helping me like, I kind of do a brain dump to him. He works with the, the designer and gets it right. Like, I don't think we've had like much revisions at all. Like, yeah, it's nice. Like I haven't had that, for a long time. I had that with my first partner, Jay, and it was nice.
Yeah, for sure.
So now it's like, I focus on running the farms, the genetics, and, he's really bringing the brand to another level.
Caleb's got his pulse on the street. He
does.
He's
He
the
knows his
face
shit.
out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Are you the face? Are you being the face as well? You kind
Yeah,
of
a
like
little bit. I mean, it's at like different times of the year I can, right? So like been doing podcasts and I have
Nice,
a couple speaking things. I've mostly about genetics and stuff like that. But like, yeah, he's really doing the sales and getting the brand out there. We're doing the network show coming up and
Oh, cool. I'll be there.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm doing a panel there.
Nice.
Solid.
We just I just saw the mock up. It's pretty dope. Like it's
they're putting on a hell of a show. Shout out to Shay and Nam and the whole network show. That's just gonna be lit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm doing a little sneak preview. I'm doing a panel with Dave from Preferred and Doja.
Nice.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, Dave's been a homie for a long time. He's been running genetics for me for a long time. His
Cool, man.
majority of his outdoor stuff like is going to rosin and resin. So a lot of that's my stuff out in the field out there. And
Really?
but he's been fucking with us for a long time. Like,
tight.
So like
Tight.
probably the last 10 years or something. Like he's been running genetics for us.
Oh yeah. That's dope, bro. Yeah, I just seen him post a picture of the field, man. The field's looking good, bro.
Yeah.
And I know they got enough dry space this year. Bro,
It's always the last thing people think of.
he takes L's like a fucking G, bro. Like that video they made, he's like standing on the pile of millions of dollars worth of weed that they fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, wouldn't burn white, man. It's like, yo, his sense of humor through hell is incredible, bro. You gotta respect that, man.
Yeah. I've been lucky to work with him. He's gotten a lot of my genetics in other states. And
Hell yeah.
it's funny, I'll like, before Caleb came along, I would give him shit. And I'm like, I think this is the one. And he was one of the only ones that would be like, yay or nay, So
doubt.
I give it to other people like, oh, this is amazing. Give it to somebody else like, no, this fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Like he's one of those people that will be honest. And
Dave's one of them ones for sure.
yeah. So yeah, he's found a couple winners for me and he's brought him to Florida and New York and stuff. So
Hell yeah. Nice, bro.
yeah.
That's cool, man. I love to see good people working together.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I think that's what it, what made the 215 so great is, I remember multiple times, like, being genetic nerd and always just hoarding things like, someone calls you and they're like, so-and-so is getting raided. Like, okay, well, how many fucking plants does he need? I needs a couple hundred. And like, literally there was times where like, some of the sheriffs are cleaning shit up and leaving. And we're like driving down the road, loaded
As they're leaving.
loading plants, like get them back out,
That's
growing
great,
again.
great,
So,
dude. So while we're on the genetics topic, right? You care to rattle off? You have hundreds.
Yeah.
Care to rattle off a couple that you're really proud of, or like your hitters?
Yeah, you're just rolling up the Blue Andes.
Yeah, bro, this shit is tasting real nice. I'm about to light that thing.
Nice.
Dry pull is crazy.
So it's so DJ Short's blueberry cross to the original Thin Mint that we talked about. Two of the first strains I brought through tissue culture to kind of clean up and kind of correct them again. And just ironically, it was, I was doing a breeding project and I was like looking at these two and I was like, I usually say like the Thin Mint kind of started, mine and Jay's relationship and kind of helped spawn Finest. So I was like, like I was telling you, like that whole strain, brought me into tissue culture to try to figure out how to fix it and stuff. So those are two of my first ones I put through culture, and it was a really small, pollination. I didn't get many seeds out of it. Just had one like little plant and pollinated it. And when I found that one, I was like, this is really cool. It's different. And then, I got lucky because it's candy.
It's legit candy, bro.
People fucking, and it's a different candy. It's not a Runts. It's not a lemon cherry. It's just a different type of candy. And so that's one of my favorites. I'm playing with a lot of old school stuff right now too. Some the original headband and some sours and like real sours. I love gas. I'm from, like I said, from New York.
Yeah, you from the era, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you from the East. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've had a handful. Like the Zouave is a pretty big hit right now. So it's like, Zouave, yeah. Tony came up with that name, or John Doe came up with that name. But actually, we just did a thing at the state fair. It won highest total cannabinoids. It was like 42 or 43%.
Hell yeah.
Not really big on that, but
I mean, yeah, whatever. But
it was cool to see. The whole fair was actually pretty cool to see the progression of, like, think about like,
yeah, dude,
that's a state fair.
It's fucking joint.
We're fucking fair, selling weed. We're, sitting down, having a smoke lounge. Like it's finally, great. Yeah. And
that experience is awesome.
They did a great job of like education, and I just think it's, it's like, people are winning wars for strawberries and they're winning wars for weed. Like it's
that's fucking cool, man.
Like I said, like I've been, ostracized my whole life for this plant,
Right.
So
and now we're at state fair getting praised by whoever the fuck, I mean, dog, it was an awesome experience. I went there with my two sons and my wife, and my son Paul, he's 17 now, so he took G. He's 5. They just went on rides. They just dipped out. This is the first time we could ever trust G with one of the kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, shit, I'm about to go to this fucking smoke. I got a couple of doinks on me.
Yeah.
Let me go smoke something real quick, tag this fucking wall, and fucking hang out with some friends and go get some fucking funnel cake.
Yeah.
Be a fat ass.
Yeah. We ended up doing a sponsorship with like Be Real and Cypress Hill and the little smoke lounge, and you go buy some weed and sit down and roll it up and smoke. So it's different to see like where it's going, and hopefully other states are gonna start opening up a little bit more. I think we all know California kind of sets the bar for a lot of this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's cool, man. Congrats, bro. That's tight, man.
Thanks.
So what's hold on, before we talk about what's on the horizon, I have some tissue culture questions.
Yeah.
So say I want to house some of my genetics with you. What does that look like? What's the process like? What's the deal?
It's a long process.
Okay.
It's a long process. It usually takes anywhere from a year to a year and a half. So we do meristem process. So yeah, this is
that's awesome.
Honey banana, blueberry.
That's amazing.
And the blueberry is in there. But yeah, so it's a long process. So the first thing, you take the genetic and then you test it and make sure that there's no underlining pathogens, HLVD,
For
hot
sure.
plate viruses a big thing, right? So you kind of analyze the strain based off of that.
Okay.
You can go a couple of different ways to help clean it up more. If there's something, wrong with the plant, you can go, there's a couple different methods, whether it's meristem or nodal. So yeah, you bring it into culture. And then from there you can turn like one plant into a million plants in a year and a half, really depending on what you're trying to do with it. And there's a way also like banking genetics, which you put them in and then you know, a lot of the genetics I have, like, you know, I probably have 40 or 50 genetics sitting in tissue culture at conception that I can't house, but I want, right? Like at some point I'm going to pull them back out and start breeding with them again. You know, like there's, we also do a full genotyping. So, which is important for a couple of reasons. One, Monsanto like came into corn and soy and they ended up being able to pull patents, you know, for certain genetics of agricultural products. So we do a full genetic genome sequencing. So you actually like you're kind of stamped, you know, it's like it's kind of like Bitcoin, right? Like it's stamped in that you understand where in the timeline, you know, like you've come across a strain. So it helps because at some point, hopefully we're able to, as a breeder, I'm able to pull a patent on a strain I created, right? You know, like think of, you know, sure being able to, you know, go back and get a patent on, you know, gelato. Like,
right.
So hopefully at some point we'll get to there, but we mapped the genome, you know, where, you know, it's unique. You have a fingerprint, just like a fingerprint on a human. Like even phenotypical expression is down to that. Like it's like I think it's a couple hundred, you know, unique identifiers. So you can say, this is mine. You know, I've put it, you know, out on a database that's public, or if you ever need to, it's time stamped, right? So you can always go backwards and say, no, I had that before anyone else.
Okay.
So we do that. And then depending if there's HLVD or, you know, there's other types of systemic pathogens, you kind of clean it up. But during that process, it's rebooting the genetic and kind of putting it back to what it was, you know, from seed. So you can sit it in the bank. I work with a lot of other breeders, Grandiflora. I work a lot with Mario and help get their stuff to market too. Like I kind of help Conception build their menu. So I have the connection with a lot of breeders. Everything that's on Conception's menu is tied back to a breeder. So everyone's getting a royalty every quarter. So, which is unique. Cool. It's different. No one's really doing that, you know? And so, it's a good group of people over there.
What's Conception? Is that
that's a tissue culture nursery.
That's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's in Sacramento. It's off of 88.
Nice, bro. Now, is there a fee? Like I was more interested in the banking part.
Yeah.
Like,
it depends.
There a monthly fee? Or?
Yeah, really. It depends on what you're trying to get. So if you're just trying to store it, it's like one fee, you know, and it's just banked. It's, you know, you can slow the growth down so that it's sitting in this like, you know, it's alive, but it's not really doing much. It's just like
it's not growing.
It's not really growing. Like it, a technician will touch it every couple months. Just kind of, you know, cut some dead stuff off and just kind of rejuvenate it a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, you there's different levels. So if you're just trying to do that, it's an X, and I don't ever handle sales. Like I don't really deal with that side of things. I don't know what that price is, but there's a lot of groups that'll bring strains in and then want them propagated. So, you know, the upfront cost is lower because there's more of a back end, you know?
Got it.
And then there's like the breeder side, which, you know, like, you know, I license genetics to them, you know, so it's like, usually it takes about a year to get it to like build up and commercially viable, you know, to be putting out, you know, 1 million plants a year, you know? So, there's no banking fee for that. It's, you know, part of the
because it's a back
deal.
end fee for sure.
Yeah,
million of fucking cuts. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's interesting, man. You know, it's funny. I was just talking to Lance yesterday after he smoked me on. Well, he smoked me. He wanted the shit, but you know, he beat me on the proper smoke lead battle, and we were headed back to the airport bullshit, and we were talking about like, you know, the future and what you need to do as a brand to survive and, you know, things like that. And, you know, genetic IP came up and stacking your library and just like, you know, having to deal with, you know, as a brand and I'm not growing, I have to have very trusted friends where I can keep my genetics and things get passed around, some spots get hit, like, things happen, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, you should look into TC. I'm like, yeah, I never really thought of that. He's like, yo, do you know Kristian? I'm like, bro, he's coming on my show tomorrow. He's like, talk to him, man.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's fucking. These are great questions to ask personally.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is for you guys, but it's also personally for me, because I was going to ask him after the show, but I figured let's get this information on the show because that's valuable info. You know
No, it is. And it's, you know, I think this day and age of, you know, genetics are becoming more and more important, you know, like, you know, the wholesale market shrinking, you know, every year. And, you know, like if you don't have something that makes you stand out, like you're getting lost, you know, with everybody else. So it's
you're just another rename.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so yeah, I think, you know, it's not cheap, you know, but it's a lot of work. And the majority of the times, like the labs aren't making money on banking something. They're hoping to make money on producing plants and giving them back to you.
No doubt.
So, you know, just the whole process of tissue culture, it, like I was saying, it kind of turns everything backwards, and you get like symmetrical branching. Like when you pop a seed and you pop a clone and you put them next to each other, you have to top them and prune them to get them to grow like a little bush. With seeds, like you're getting that symmetrical branching. And that's like called the juvenility of it. When you take a clone off of that and start propagating it, you're losing that down the line. But with tissue culture, you're getting a true DNA clone replica of that plant at that time over and over and over and over again. So you're getting all that symmetrical branching. You know, as you start having moms around, you're losing, you know, maybe it's a little bit of the terpenes every time, or maybe it's a little bit of the virility or the THC. You know, like you're losing a little bit because the plant's getting beat up a little bit. You know, you're cutting off of something. You know, you're going through a process that's not natural to them. So, you know, tissue culture has been used in traditional ag for 40, 50 years.
Wow.
Kind of funny story, like rewind, I think it was 2014 or 15. Jay and I finally had, like, we shared a booth at Emerald Cup with some friends, and we didn't have enough plants to sell yet, but we had enough plants to show people at Emerald Cup. So, people were coming through and we're showing them like what it looks like. 'Cause you're growing them in a little deli, like a little dish with agar. And, but then when you see the plant, you know, you like as a cultivator, you're like, that plant doesn't look like anything else. And you're getting that symmetrical branching, like just a gorgeous plant. And we were showing it off to people, and people started calling us like Monsanto, and they're like, what do you back then, like,
Jesus,
everything's so organic and stuff, and you know, being up north and like, no, like this is a natural process that's been used in agriculture. But it's funny that a couple of years later, like we actually had a 3-hour line waiting to get genetics at our booth at Emerald Cup.
Wow,
so it was a pretty surreal moment to, like,
that's tight.
People are like yelling at us, you know, that we were fucking with the plant. And so, yeah.
And look who's back. That's crazy, man. You know, funny enough, I heard about you before I even knew who you were, what you do, and the whole thing. I mentioned this to you when we talked on the phone that one day. It was through Mario. Because I soak up any media that's out there, any videos. Just, I'm always learning. I'm very interested, and you know, Sherbinsky's obviously one of the big players in the community. And I remember him doing that video.
Yeah, at the nursery.
Were you in the video? Probably in the video, or maybe.
No,
or maybe weren't,
I just didn't like being.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the first time I ever heard of tissue culture and that whole process. Yeah. And years later to find out that was you guys, that's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, no, I've been working with Mario like probably 8-10 years. Probably 10 years.
It's probably 8 years ago when I seen the video. 9 years ago.
Yeah, so it's probably 10, maybe more. But yeah, he hit us up. He's like, man, we literally saved his original strains.
Holy shit.
Like I mean, I'm talking like the pink panties, you know, then the sunset, which honestly, like, is my favorite of all of his stuff is the sunset sherbet.
Bro, all day.
Like, I felt like it never got its time to shine.
No, but gelato came in too fast.
Yeah, and then the Skittles came in that time too.
Yeah,
so
bro.
it was like, it was just,
sauce.
yeah, it did. But yeah, we had all his original stuff. We helped, you know, back it up. He was working with a nursery that, you know, it was like covered in broad mites and russet mites. And he was like, I don't know what to do with this. So, you know, it took that probably took a good 2 years just to get him plants back.
Wow.
He had a grow in North Sac too. And yeah, we helped, resurrect a lot of old strains.
dope.
So yeah, we've been friends and working together for a while.
Hell yeah.
So,
I mean, just the simple fact that you did that with those strains, like you really saved a part of cannabis history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are huge factors in the game, in the timeline, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what's up. Shout out to you guys, man.
Thanks.
That's cool. So what's on the horizon, bro? What's the next 5-10 years look like, man? What's the plans?
Just a lot of genetic work, a lot of, you know, getting, you know, like I'm a big believer in mixed light, and, you know, hopefully building out some more mixed light facilities. I think, you know, me and David have always talked for years, like, you know, the 215, it was funny. I had a mixed light the last like couple of years of the 215, had to walk away from that project because of, you know, the county and stuff like that. But when I first started growing that style, I was like, this is the best style, you know.
That's so good.
Having natural light and the ability of a little bit of synthetic light, and, you know, I've just dialed in my processes. I coined it years ago, like syngetic, like I use a little bit of synthetic nutrients and, you know, a little bit of organic inputs, and, you know, Luke from Turp Mansion, you know, we kind of have the same kind of style. He's been a buddy too for a long time. He's been running my genetics for probably the last decade too.
Nice.
And that coupled with, you know, a mixed light greenhouse, I don't think there's anything better, you know. And when you smoke it, you taste it, you know, the terpenes are higher, and, you know, now you're seeing, you know, Dave take out people with mixed light
Dave's on
versus
a tear
indoor.
right now,
Yes,
bro.
it's great to see. And yeah, I just, you know, I think it really shows, like, you know, a lot of people went indoor to get away from the helicopters and stuff. You know, it wasn't like indoor was.
It was necessity.
It wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
or sorry, it was.
Born out of necessity.
Right. It wasn't like, you know, development to do this, right? You know, so it was as like it's developing. I'm a geek at heart too. Like, you know, I'm looking at water content, moisture, and, you know, I do a little bit of crop steering, but just trying to really realize what the plant wants, what the what's the strains want, you know, like, and yeah, so that's, you know, really just, I keep focusing on genetics. You know, like I've definitely found some things that the OG Zebra that I did with Farming Stone in rosin form. Yeah.
I just seen him last weekend.
Nice. That's like, I think, like, going to be a game changer on the rosin side. So I put it through tissue culture. It's coming back out.
Nice.
Able to, you know, make sure that plant's, you know, safe too. We're doing some breeding with it, but that as rosin is phenomenal. Like, he actually beat me to getting it out this year on rosin. Like, we're just, you know, getting it processed.
Printing the stickers this morning, bro, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Swear to God, bro.
Yeah.
That's when I seen it. I was like, oh shit, that's weird.
Yeah.
Just seen that.
Flour's good, but I think it's a better
It'd be like
rosin
that, you know?
strain.
Yeah.
It's got this like chocolate, like, you know, just
undertones, like shit you
Yeah.
don't taste in the flour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
What is it? Do you know the genetics?
Yeah, so his side of it was the OGZ, I think it's from Mendoza, and then he hit that to a Rainbow Belts 3.0, like a stud he had. And then I did a Culata, which was like a mix of different things with Tony and those guys. They gave me some stuff. It was Sunset, Sherbet, Skittles. There's like 5 or 6 things in that one. And then we put that together. And
So all of that together.
yeah, it's a ton of, That's a ton of Skittles.
a lot of work.
Skittles on Skittles on
Oh
Skittles.
shit! Okay.
So the OG has some gas to it, but it's super complex, and everyone that like smells it, like, you know, like they have a different palate. They're pulling something different out of it.
Nice.
I smell a lot of like chocolate Skittles in there. So
Chocolate Skittles sounds great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I'm really really excited about. But yeah, just, you know, trying to, you know, put out good weed at good prices, good resin, you know, and just, you know, building a brand and you know, keep it going. So
Love it, bro.
like I said, I got you know, a lot of good help now, you know, like for a while, you know, it was just me, you know, breeding, selection, growing, and then just wholesaling. You know, I honestly, like, I helped build a lot of brands, you know, and then so now it's nice because it's you know, kind of my turn to start showing off some of the work with my name on it and stuff. So
that's cool, man. And I think you're perfectly positioned with the state of the game right now. Like, it's a genetics game, it's a library game. You know, you're helping people do that, and you have a library, and it seems to be never ending.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you breed. So it's fucking cool, man.
And it's funny because, like, for a while I didn't go the rosin route, like, and I was all flower, and I would cut down the plant. Like, I fucking love this terpene. I love this smell, right? Cut it down, hang it, and then
see you later.
Dry it, and then it's gone. I'm like, fuck, where'd that go? Like, I loved it for that, you know? And now it's pretty fun going for the rosin side because, like, I can cut it down, freeze it, and then that smell is still there. It's preserved.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's different. You know?
I love rosin. You know, you get to taste more of the true plant expression while it's alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tight, bro. I got this doink rolled up for you. Whenever you're ready, let me know. We'll get it cooking for you.
Yeah.
So, what do you know that the industry should know, or what are you calling bullshit on out there that you're seeing out there in the game these days?
The rename. It just sucks.
I see that as a breeder. That's fucking painful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, people have stole a lot of my genetics and renamed them. You know, I put them out there for sale. Like, I would prefer just people to, like, you know, to give their respect to the breeders, not just myself, but just the breeders
in general.
Know? Yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of R&D is fucking expensive, and it's not easy. You know, like, I'm working on things that are going to be out 2 or 3 years from now. You know, man. Like, especially when you start factoring the tissue culture, because I really believe that tissue culture is the answer going forward. Like, traditional nurseries are great to, like, you know, hey, we have something new, let's prove it out, you know, mom it. But, like, long term, like, to preserve the genetic and to give the full expression, like, I think tissue culture is the only way to go. So,
for sure, I agree. If you could change one thing about the game, what would it be?
I kind of thought that as, like, a personal perspective. Like, I watched a lot of friends go really big in the 215, and I kind of felt like I was, like, having a family, not understanding the legality sides as much. Like, I probably would have went bigger, you know? So, like, was something I probably would have changed in my game, you know, as I was, like, kind of coming up. I should have went bigger in the 215.
Yeah.
So
a lot of cats our age say that, and I say that too. I say that too. You know, when you have a family, you gotta kind of play it cool, but then you watch the motherfuckers sitting right next to you going hard in the paint, and, like, they're going hard, and, like, you're like, fuck, dude, like, ooh, that's a little riskier than what I'm doing, but they got away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I should have did that. You know?
Yeah, I remember the first time we got our hand slapped. Our lawyer Heather was like, "You got some money stacked to fight this?" Like, because, like, really the law is only based for people with money. You know, like
that too.
Like, you're not going to jail. You know, if you got enough money, like, we'll fight this. You're not going to go to jail. But you know, so I wish I would have known that a little bit before. You know, like, but yeah.
What are you gonna do? We're here now. Yeah. We move forward with the knowledge that we've gained throughout the years. You know,
for sure.
Now we're going to play a little game called Fuck One, Marry One, Kill One. This is similar to the top 3 strains of all time. Fuck One is the unicorn, the best strain you ever smoked, the best experience you had with cannabis, period. Whatever strain that was. Married One is your desert island, you know what I'm saying? It's all you got for the rest of your life. And the Kill One is just you just hate those terps? We could do away with those.
The kill one, Blue Dream.
Going for it. There you go.
Just always, I don't know, just how much of it was. And it's kind of funny because we grow some of it now because people still fucking want it, you know, especially in the rec mark. I have to say Blue Dream on that one. You know, the one I wish I could find again was honestly, I mentioned in the beginning was that chocolate tie. You know, for me, it was like,
let's go.
It was that moment of like, you know, weed in New York was just Mexican brick, you know, dirt weed. And seeing that, I was like, I mean, that just like opened my mind. I remember like a good buddy, he was 2 years older than me. We used to skate and snowboard a lot together. And he came back and I always bought weed. I always buy like a half ounce and then, you know, sling a couple eighths to not pay for it. Right.
Yeah.
And that one, I just like spent, like, I was always tight on my money growing up. And I spent every dime I had on that fucking, he was around all summer with pounds of it. And I just kept on going back every week, buying it again and again.
That's right.
So it was like, for me, like that was a, you know, a pivotal moment in my like career of like smoking was to like understand, you know, what weed could be, you know? So, and then
I know what you mean.
The one I would be stuck with ever, like, honestly, it would be Skittles rosin. I could smoke Skittles rosin for the rest of my life.
Interesting change.
Rosin though, like
he flipped it to rosin. Okay, I'll accept that because I let the rosin guys do rosin. It's easier for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tight. If you could bring back a strain, what would it be?
It's a good question. Man, there was a sour a buddy had up in Mendocino, and I still haven't found that sour. Kind of getting onto the scientific side, even with tissue culture. Like when you do tissue culture, you clean up bacterial loads, and good and bad bacteria make strains express different ways.
Oh, shit.
So
wow.
A lot of like, if you talk to like real living soil organic guys, right? They're feeding, you know, that bed or that their process is expressing things differently, you know, and I haven't seen that sour, you know, like you could triple turkey bag it, you could fucking triple vacuum seal it and it's still leaked, you know? And for me, it's like, I don't think you'll ever see some of that stuff again. And it's a lot of it's geared towards like the processes at that time too. Like, unfortunately, over the last couple of years of, you know, a lot of like great organic guys, you know, like I spent a lot of time in Humboldt and Mendo, and, you know, like when you're, you know, people are building soil for years and years and years, you know, like, or outdoor always gets kind of shit upon, but like the terpiness and the smells there's, you know, like we're trying to bring some of that back, but some of that I think is lost forever. And like those sours was a game changer, like talking early 2000, like 2000, 2002, something like that. Like you just don't smell that sour anymore.
No, sir.
I think it's gone.
That was okay. Well, you answered my next question because you brought up sour before. I meant to ask you, I forgot. And then you just said it again. I was about to say, is it around? Do you have it? You don't.
I have sours.
Breaks my heart, kid. God damn, I thought you were about to hit me with the good news.
The best sour I've seen lately, James Loud has a really good sour right now, like an East Coast sour. Yeah.
Okay.
He hoards that pretty tight.
I haven't seen that sour, James. What the fuck's going on, bro?
He'll show it to you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What is your weed etiquette, growing, breeding, what have you, pet peeve? What grinds your gears?
I feel like we're stuck in a box right now on the wholesale, you know, the candy thing. I love candies. Like I'll smoke candies and stuff, but like the nice thing about going back into the rec is, you don't have to play in this little box anymore. Right. It's like wholesale is purple and candy. Like if you read some of the early breeding books, purple is a recessive trait in cannabis. So they would actually breed it out. They would take it out you take it out of the pool you're playing with. So, you know, I think that would have to be my pet peeve right now is just people only want one thing, you know, or the part of the market only wants one thing. And I still don't know where that's going. Like you talk to friends all over the country and they're like, it's, you know, we still want something different, you know, but, I think that would be my pet peeve right now. Like, I mean, variety, you know, like you got stuck drinking, you know, one type of wine or one beer, like, you know, like, I don't know. I want variety. Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. And shout out to you for this Blue Andes. This is a different candy, but you know what I noticed throughout smoking this joint? I don't get as high off candies, right? For whatever reason. It's good taste. And I don't really smoke to, I smoke to get high, but I like good flavor. This got me high as shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, this is hitting way different than a Runts, a LCG, a Blue Nerds, whatever you want to rename the shit to.
Right.
So this is cool, man. I'm digging this.
Yeah, like I said, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's got like that cookie kick to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that funk. You know, the cookies.
Like the power of cookies. You know what I'm saying? Cookies get me high.
Blueberry always got me high too. It was a heavy indica.
Didn't smoke too much of it. Wasn't lucky enough to. Once.
Yeah.
As a kid in Jersey, I got my hands on it.
Some of the first stuff I saw when I came out to California. I didn't really see it back east. I came out here and saw blueberry and sours and stuff started coming around.
Yeah, I'm fucking with this, bro. Where is your favorite place to smoke, sir?
I love to light up on a fucking ski lift.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
I love to get ripped and put my headphones in and you know, a lot of times I'll go out by myself, you know. We live like about an hour door to door to Sugar Bowl, so sometimes I'll just get high and I'll be by myself and just put my headphones on and kind of get into that flow, you know. Like you kind of feel. I've
snowboarded there before. I love the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
I took my son there for his first time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did well. We had him out there twice. Fuck yeah, I've done that. What's on the tunes? What you listening to?
A lot of I listen to a lot of different shit. Everything except country music. I fucking hate country music. But
another popular answer.
I listen to a lot of hip hop. I just saw Wu-Tang couple weeks ago here.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, bro, I wanted
that
to go
fucking
so
show
bad, man.
So good.
I was in Jersey, bro.
You know, it's kind of funny. Like the reason why I hate country music is because growing up, like being at parties and stuff, like there's a bunch of rednecks and I would like be listening to hip hop with my skater friends and dance with girls and stuff.
Heads, bro.
Yeah, they try to get beat up. One of the first hip hop albums I remember was Liquid Swords.
Oh, GZA, let's go.
And they just played it. They played a couple songs and they did the whole intro with the little girl talking about her dad and
choose the sword. Or no. I'm thinking something chamber or whatever the fuck on. That's on the same album. You're talking about Liquid Swords, right?
Yeah. At the very beginning, like the very first.
Yes.
So I saw that. It was awesome. Like that show was awesome because like all the little spin-offs, the little groups that from that main group, they allowed like the RZA and the GZA came up and did a couple songs from that album, and it was really cool. And they would kind of go backwards, and then everyone would come back out. Yeah, it's
collectively and individually insane, bro.
Yeah. So I listen to a lot of like old school East Coast hip hop.
I dig it.
So
I dig it. Same.
A lot of times when I'm snowboarding, that's
what's from the era, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's up. What's your favorite stoner food, bro?
Fuck, I got a sweet tooth. So I'm usually like eating fucking cookies or something like that when I get high.
Okay. We're going to take it a step further. What's your middle of the night? You're creeping through the kitchen. You're a scumbag and you know it. Guilty pleasure.
Probably some cookie.
Going back for the cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of cookies we talking, bro? Like, what you fucking with?
I love like coconut macaroons or like I like a good nutter butter.
Okay.
I can't lie. And then my mom was an amazing cook, and my grandfather, Italian. He was actually from a island off of Sicily, and I grew up like around really good food all the time. So we'll make a lot of like I can cook. So I'll make a lot of like, desserts and stuff like that. Nice. And it's, I can't do it too much because I'll just fucking, my wife yells at me, I'll eat the whole fucking thing,
That's right. My grandfather's from Sicily too. I know I liked you.
Nice. Yeah. I haven't been yet. I've been to Northern Italy a bunch. I haven't been to Southern Italy yet. My mom's side of the family was from a island called Messina. So like right
I know Messina. Yeah.
So that's actually my mom's maiden name is Messina.
Okay.
My
Messina's back east. That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
My grandfather came over on a boat when he was like, I don't know, 8 or 10, something like that. So he spent a good part of his life in, Sicily, and then really,
nice.
Was over here in Long Island.
It's great, bro. You got to go.
Yeah.
Picture Italy, right? But island vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Moves a little slower. You know?
No, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. Hell yeah. If you could smoke with 2 people, one that's dead, one that's still alive, who would they be?
Probably, I'd love to smoke with Biggie. I always like ingrained it. My son, you'll ask him, I was like, who's the best rapper of all time? He's like, Biggie Smalls, of course.
Okay.
So I would love to smoke with Biggie Smalls. And then alive, probably Joe Rogan. I've spent a lot of time in the car, and like I said, I would just fucking crush. I was like 4 or 5 hours a day for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So I would crush podcasts and ebooks, and so.
Yep.
But I just,
the GOAT. Shout out to the GOAT.
Yeah, and he just has so much knowledge of so many different things. So probably get super high and start talking conspiracy theories with him.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
Solid picks. Solid picks. And believe it or not, I think that's the first time for Big, bro.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's sad.
You floating around episode 150 too. You know what I'm saying? That's wild. Shout out to Big, man. Let's shout out your favorite plug from back in the day. Somebody took care of you, man. Who you don't have to say his real name, or maybe you do. Get his nickname or some shit.
Yeah, I'll actually say his name. My boy Perry.
Shout out to Perry.
Perry, yeah, he New York. We started hustling together pretty young, I think he got me on this train, did a bunch of hallucinogens together, did fucking smoked a lot of weed, moved a lot of weed together, and I think that kind of like put me on this trajectory.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
For me, that was my cousin Anthony.
Yeah.
He got me in the game. Yeah. Never looked back. Never took a day off. Who would we be without them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was crazy. He was moving fucking like real weight and
yeah.
And I was always a little more quieter, but he was moving real weight for a long time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So
I know what you mean, brother. What is the best financial advice you have ever received, my friend? Put me on.
What I ever received.
Or maybe a lesson you learned.
Yeah, diversification. I think over the last decade, like I've been so, all my money has been in weed, and if I look back now, like I definitely missed a couple things. I think diversification, not in the 08, 10 crash, like I lost a lot of, money in some 401ks and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to be in control of my own money, but a lot of our like investments have been into weed properties or whatever, but I think, diversification, you don't get, as we've all seen, like, this market's fucking roller coaster, so a lot of times you have to rely on things that are, not all in one lane.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, different strain. You need different forms of income, different streams of income, different streams for different dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mentor beat that in my head about 10 years ago. So I always try to keep like 5, 6, 2 hitters, couple sidelines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people say that's not a good thing, but I don't believe that, because if one gets cut off, you got a couple more.
Yeah.
And you want them to try to be residual.
Yep. For sure.
If you could pick somebody to be your personal mentor, anybody in the world, who would it be?
Whew. That's a tough question. Been lucky. I've had some good mentors over the years. We'll
open up the circle, dead or alive. You can go back in time, my friend.
Yeah. Still tough. I don't know if I have an answer for that one.
All right, then shout out one of your favorite mentors.
My uncle.
Oh, nice. Yeah, uncle mentor. That's solid.
Yeah. I come from a long line of like entrepreneurs.
Nice.
Actually from both sides of my family. My dad passed away when I was early. I was about 14, 15. So my uncle kind of stepped in as my mentor. But he sees everything different, you know. Has always been like a good mentor to me. He owned a construction company in Long Island and built that up from nothing. He grew up in the 60s and 70s, got arrested, spent a couple of years in jail, and then, you know, got out and just stayed focused and built something really great.
Nice.
So yeah, he's always been a mentor to me, you know, like even because I've been an entrepreneur. I got done with college, worked for a couple software startups, and I was like watching them make mistakes. And I'm like, I can make these mistakes. I can figure it out. So I ended up, I think I really only spent like 2 or 3 years in, you know, like a 9-to-5 and
Nice.
started consulting and building, you know, own software and, you know, so for me, like I've always been an entrepreneur.
Hell yeah. Big up to you. Big up to Unc.
Yeah.
Is he still with us?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's like one of the most dedicated. Like he doesn't touch sugar. He doesn't touch, you know, no vice.
Oh, he's on it.
Yeah, he's like in his 70s, and you know, people are like thinking he's like, you know, mid 50s.
Hell yeah. Those guys inspire the fuck out of me, bro.
Yeah, and he's wakes up, you know, 4:30 in the morning, does Tai Chi for like 2 hours.
Goddamn right he does.
And surfs every day. And
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What a life.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, he showed me a lot. I've been lucky to travel the world surfing with him too and snowboarding.
Oh, you surf too?
Oh yeah.
This fucking guy does it all.
I grew up surfing in Long Island. Like he brought me surfing when I was a kid, 10, 12 years old. Caught the bug on that too, and we surfed all winter in Long Island. You know, the hurricanes would start popping up and nor'easters, and you know, we were surfing with 5-6 mil wetsuits, and you know, the water's like 36 degrees, the air temperature is like 10. You know, like you could only be in the water for you know, maybe a half hour or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew surfing.
Wow.
Grew up surfing out in
That's
Long Island.
hardcore, bro.
Yeah.
We don't all do that on the East Coast.
Nah.
You know Surf's Up? You ever met Surf's Up? You ever heard of him? Mm-mm. My boy Ellie? Yeah, you got to meet him, man. He's a surfer. He's got a surfer weed brand called Surf's Up, and he's a hardcore surfer.
In Cali?
He's from the Outer Banks, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's out in Cali now, yeah. But he's done that. He told the story on the podcast. He's fucking going in the subway with his fucking surfboard.
Yeah, like
crazy.
Wintertime, you would duck dive, and like the only thing that's just like not full of rubber is just like a little part of your face, and you would get like an ice cream headache the first like 6 or 7 times ducking under the waves. It would hurt, but you had to just paddle through it. And winter, there's not many people out there, so
sir.
So I remember being out here and surfing in Santa Cruz in the winter, and I'd be like, this is, you know, everyone's like crying, and I'm like, dude, this is nothing. This is like 55-degree water temperature. This is easy.
You're out there chilling. Yeah. That's crazy. Nice, bro. Well, before we get up out of here, if you could go back to the young you, the day before you hopped off the porch and jumped into the game, what advice would you tell you?
Go harder, go bigger, go bigger, go bigger.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Where can people find you? Let the people know.
Yeah, Instagram is Counterculture, Counter_culture_CA, and it's with K's again. So working on a website right now, but a lot of the products in Sacramento right now, and kind of moving, you know, throughout the state.
Nice.
But yeah, that's probably the easiest way is Instagram.
Nice. Good shit, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming through, man.
Appreciate it.
You already know, Counterculture, good pizza. Shout out to all my Patreons. Shout out to everybody that's subscribed on YouTube. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. New Jersey, we're in 9 stores. We'll send you the list. It's going to be in the credits. You already know, man. We'll see y'all soon, man. Peace, love, good pizza. We up out of here.